Great, this is the third time I'm trying to do this video because of fucking CapCut's bullshit. So you guys gotta give me a break because apparently Lula is still in charge and doing bullshit again. Why he's doing this? Because he can, obviously. Now, since the time that I made this video, there's tons of shit that I gotta talk about. Apparently he increased interest rates and apparently he also increased taxes and is now fighting with Trump. Amazing. So yeah, let's get to it. So this currently right here is the interest rates graphic. As you can see, there has been just a little increase in the past few months, and apparently this increase is because our deficit has increased too much. Also must be noted that the debt to GDP ratio is also right there in the corner. Gotta love it because it sucks. Our debt to GDP is increasing so much that it's honestly not even funny at this point. Might as well just throw yourself off a bridge after seeing this fucking graphic. Now, of course, Lula himself doesn't actually care about governing. All he cares about is money for himself. Come on, it's every politician. You already know the drill. But at this point, we're starting to get out of hand. The guy is trying to get himself in a fight with the United States, which, sure, 50% tariffs ain't nothing normal. But come on. You're really gonna try to face the fucking United States of America while trying to counter China? You know, the country that is the other side of the globe will help you? You know, I'm just saying, we might be cooked right now. We might be cooked. What you're seeing right now is the graphic about the national interest rate. Basically, you have the surplus and the deficit. In red, you have 2025, and in blue, you have 2024. Notice that the interest rate was raised considerably on the past, especially in the past few months. Now, you probably know already that Brazilian national interest rates are literally the highest in the world if you don't consider nations that are currently in hyperinflation. Now, how much this actually helps the economy is really up to question because the government just keeps on spending. If you wanted to do an austerity-based campaign on policy, why are you spending so much money on useless social programs that are not going to bring you pretty much anywhere? Of course, they don't have an explanation to this because they're only going to pull out bullshit and just going to say, well, actually, it's good for the people that will increase the interest rate because inflation is going to go down. The problem is, inflation is only going down because no one is buying anything. Things are so expensive, things are so ridiculously expensive in fact, that no one currently is buying actual decent quality equipment from foreign projects. Like for example, purchases on eBay completely declined right recently, simply because prices are so ridiculously high that no one even bothers purchasing. And no, this isn't because Donald Trump increased the tariffs. Our tariffs are already extremely huge. In fact, I don't even know why we're complaining. We have 100% tariffs on imported software. Why are we complaining that we are getting tariffed back? We should probably try to, decrease the tariffs that we instated that literally made absolutely no sense. Or just double down on it, I guess. Now, why some people actually support this is a whole different thing, because people, right here, really love to get themselves into more poverty. Of course, they believe that Lula is gonna bring them back into fucking utopia levels of richness. Reality is, he's the reason we are in this situation on the first place. Now, Bolsonaro did his shit. Yes, Lula, however, is the main guy behind all of this. The economic crisis of the 2010s wouldn't have happened if he just stopped spending bullshit money in trying to build a 30,000 composition stadium in the middle of the Amazon. Great idea, by the way. Love whoever pointed this out. Now, if you are a socialist and you believe that what he's doing is actually good by injecting more money into the economy, well, I say fuck you. Because honestly, how can you believe that a system that has now worked 40 different times throughout history will somehow just magically work for no reason? While inflation is rising, Our poverty levels are not rising, in fact. But you want to know why? Because recently we lowered our consideration of what is actually poor by 200 BRL. Basically, we took out millions of people from poverty by simply lowering the poverty line. So people who were poor now are considered middle class, not because they had their wages or their income increases, but simply because they are no longer considered poor because they just don't receive that much money in comparison to what they are now considered poor. Now, in the meantime, while the government keeps talking about helping the poor and equalizing the system, Lula just quite literally made a bailout of a bunch of corporations, specifically state-owned companies, because according to him, they serve social matters. Yes, if you are a company in Brazil, you must, and under no circumstance, violate your social mandate. You must somehow lift 15% of the population from poverty. Even if that means you are like taxed by 80%, who cares? It's your problem at the end of the day. And if you're supporting this, my friend, you're the problem. And if you love socialism so much, well, I welcome you, and I'm very willing to make a whole group just to pay for your visits of Cuba. Just remember, in the terms and conditions, do not come back. I'm telling you, my country is gonna be much better without you.